Hi guys, how's everyone doing? My name is Jeremiah, and my goal is to read 1,000 books in 365 days. And guys, this is our book. It is continuing part two. It's called Into the Wild: Yet Another Misadventure by Doreen Cronin, illustrated by Stephen Gilpin. We stopped at chapter 4, beginning. And guys, look at this. Do you see what I see? Well, you probably do, because I'm gonna have a different background because I'm doing this YouTube video at my dad's office, so that's why I'm like different background, but it's okay. So you could see our first part in the description box below and watch that, and then come here and watch this second part, which will be in another 4 chapters. So yeah, guys, let's read our book. Into the Wild, Yet Another Misadventure. Doreen Cronin, illustrated by Stephen Gilpin, cover by Kevin Cornell. Chapter 4. Listen up, squad, said Sugar. The bad news is we still have no idea what's in the box. The other bad news is Dirt used all the surveillance time to write poetry. I didn't do it on purpose, protested Sugar. Rolled her eyes. So unless Sweetie observed something we didn't, I'm pretty sure we will never get close enough to the box to find out what's in it, and we should proceed as if it is a dangerous wild animal, possibly a shark, and we're all in imminent danger. We ruled out shark, yelled Dirt. No, kid, you ruled out shark, and I'm not completely comfortable with that. Sweetie, said Dirt, can you read us what you have in your observation log? No, replied Sweetie. Why not? Asked Dirt. Spying is wrong, said Sweetie. I climbed up to the gutter just like you said, but I felt funny watching someone without his or her permission. So I slid down the pipe, rolled across the lawn, and came back here. How did you miss Aster? Apparently I wasn't the only one napping, replied Sugar. But based on your observations, continued Sweetie, it sounds to me like there's a rabbit in the box. Why in the world would you say that? Demanded Sugar. Dirt's poem about chewing and hopping, answered Sweetie. That's what rabbits do. I told you it was a poem, grumbled Sugar. Dirt paced back and forth excitedly. So your hypothesis, based on your observations, is that the creature in the box is a rabbit? So what I hear you saying, remarked Sugar, is that 3 minutes of skillful observation was plenty of time to gather information, form a hypothesis, and take a nap. That's what I hear you saying. I think what I'm saying is that if it eats like a rabbit and hops like a rabbit, it's probably a rabbit, said Sweetie. You've come a long way, kid, said Sugar. Thanks, sis, said Sweetie. All right, kid, said Sugar. Enough blubbering. Rabbits aren't dangerous, are they? Asked Poppy. Not at all, replied Sugar, unless you're a carrot. That's right. Is it in a box? Asked Poppy. Rabbits are helpless, explained Sugar. They can only eat salad. They can't handle the stairs, and I'm pretty sure the ears are just for show. Uh-oh, cried Dirt from the door. You have a really big problem. You sure do, kid, said Sugar. I think I just ruined Easter for Poppy. No, look, said Dirt. Look at the rabbit box. The door is wide open and the rabbit's gone. Oh no, poor bunny, cried Sweetie. I will never survive. It will never survive on its own. We're going after it, declared Sugar. Grab the emergency survival kits. We don't have emergency survival kits, announced Dirt. We have our spy kit, suggested Poppy. Will that help us in an emergency? Fake mustaches, marshmallows, and observation logs, said Sugar, deep in thought. Perfect. The chicken zipped up the plastic baggies and lined up at the door. Come on, squad, yelled Sugar into the wild. Into the wild. She waited until they were a few feet away from the chicken coop. Now put on your mustaches and marshmallow belts. It's for your own safety. Chapter 5. The wilderness is a lot farther away than I thought, said Sugar, breathing heavily. We should camp out here and wait for the bad weather to pass. Sugar trapped her head. Survival skills, kid. You're right, there's a line of dark clouds approaching, said Dirt. I meant the sun, Sugar pointed out. It's really hot. In fact, according to the compass, it's going to be a real torture today. My instincts tell me it's probably going to be close to 200 degrees. Let's set up a tarp for shade and wait it out. Compasses don't predict weather, explained Dirt. We need to hydrate, said Sugar, ignoring her. Let's stop here and fill our canteens. JJ's dog bowl, said Dirt. He really doesn't like it when we go in there. Plus, I'm pretty sure it has, dog spit in it. That is not clean water. Clean water is that what you think you need? I mean, you need to survive. The last thing you need to survive is clean water. Every living thing needs clean water, said Dirt. It may actually be one of the most important things. One of the most important things. Sugar ordered sister again. Hand me the canteen, she demanded. We don't have canteens, replied Dirt, and the sky's actually getting pretty dark. Sorry. I think we should keep moving and stay ahead of it. Come on, chickens, announced Sugar. For once, Dirt is right. We have to keep moving. Head count. 1, 2, yelled Dirt. 3, yelled Poppy. The chickens waited. Close enough, announced Sugar. Let's move. Hang on, Sugar, said Dirt. You have to stick together in the wilderness. I'll find Sweetie. She turned around and headed back across the yard. Sugar and Poppy set up a pillowcase for shade and played hangman in their observation lounge while they waited. Found her, yelled Dirt a few minutes later, walking under the pillowcase with Sweetie right behind her. Dirt was wearing a headlamp. Her arms were full of her, and her backpack was overflowing. What is all that junk? Demanded Sugar. There's a storm gathering. I foraged for berries, gathered firewood, and used the hose to fill the baggie with fresh water. I see, Sugar. Stared at her sister for a minute, nodding her head up and down. Did you bring my land of her eye pillow and the jelly beans? No, replied Dirt. You wouldn't last a day in the wild without me, kid? Not one day. Chapter 6. Rabbits like to stay close to the cover, said Dirt, leading Squad along the long back fence of the yard. Try to think like a rabbit, she continued. Which way would a rabbit go? If I were a rabbit, I would go that way, Sugar pointed. If I were a rabbit, said Dirt, I wouldn't go that way because that's the way to the mall, and I would sense the vibrations of the heavy traffic. Exactly, said Sugar, turning around, and when I sensed those vibrations, I would turn around and go that way, behind the tomato patch, and through the hole in the fence that we dug last year to reach the trampoline in the neighbor's yard. If I were a rabbit, said Dirt, my keen hearing would pick up all those kids in the yard with the trampoline, and I would determine that it might not be the best way to go. I gotta hand it to you, kid, said Sugar. You're a better fake rabbit than I am. That means so much to me, Sugar, answered Dirt. Thank you. All right, kid, said Sugar, turning serious. Enough blubbering. The sky grew dark, and the chicken pressed even closer to the fence for some cover from the wind. What are we doing? What are we doing to do when we find the rabbit? Asked Sweetie. Throw the pillowcase over his head and drag him back to safety. That rabbit has no business in the wild, answered Sugar. The bad part sounds a little extreme, said Dirt. Hard drops of rain bounced off their heads. We can just gently lead them back to the yard. Do rabbits actually live in the wild? Asked Sweetie. Of course, replied Dirt. The chickens raised the tarp up over their heads for cover from the storm. How do they protect themselves without marshmallows and mustaches? Asked Sweetie. Excellent question, said Sugar. Mostly they run, answered Dirt. They are also very good at hiding and stay perfectly still. Staying perfectly still. Speaking of still, doesn't the yard seem kind of quiet? Asked Sweetie. Yeah, where's everybody? Asked Poppy. I don't hear any birds or see any squirrels. Good observation, Poppy, said Dirt. Lots of animals have the instinct to take cover and lay low when they sense bad weather or danger. Maybe you should do that too, suggested Poppy. He looked up at the dark sky. Chickens don't run from danger, kid, said Sugar. Rain dripping from the corners of her wet mustache. A deep boom of thunder opened up the sky and shook the fence. Lightning cracked right on its heels, and the rain came down so hard it knocked the chickens to the ground. What should we do? Asked Sweetie, her eyes wide. Run! Yelled Sugar. There was nothing to see on this page, but I'll just show it to you. Chapter 7. It's too far to the chicken coop, yelled Dirt, struggling to see in the pouring rain. We'll make a run for the rabbit hutch. Keep one wing on the fence. It will guide us to the other side of the yard. Stay close. The water is rising, yelled Poppy, holding his wings up in the air to keep them dry. Help! A gust of wind lifted him off his feet. I'll just show this to you. I forgot to. It's not skippy. Holding his wings up in the air to keep them dry. Help! A gust of wind lifted him off his feet and blew him 10 feet back. Dirt, Sugar, and Sweetie ran back to him, fighting their way through the torrential rain. Keep your wings down, Sugar yelled, over the storm, otherwise it will blow all over the yard. We need to tie ourselves together, yelled Dirt. The wind blew her feathers straight back from her face. With what? Asked Poppy. Dirt looked around frantically. Our mustaches. Good thinking, yelled Sugar. The chickens ripped the mustaches off one at a time. Ouch, 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 ouch. Then they tied themselves together and trudged through the rain and the mud, fighting through the wind every step of the way. A giant puddle at the bottom of the rabbit hutch ramp blocked the way. Can he go through it, yelled Sugar? Dirt tossed a rock into the puddle and watched it disappear beneath the surface. Too deep, too deep. Head count, yelled Dirt. One. The water rose up over their ankles. I'm one, yelled Sugar. I'm always one. Start over. The water rose up to the tips of the wings. You can't always be one, Sugar. You can't always be one, Sugar. Head count starts with whoever who calls the head count. That's a rule of the wild. Do chickens float, yelled Poppy. The water was up to their necks. I think wild chickens can float, said Sweetie. Are we wild chickens? Don't be ridiculous, yelled Sugar. We were born and raised in a heated box. We are not wild chickens. Head count, Dirt and Sugar yelled at the same time. One! Dirt and Sugar called at the same time. I am a wild chicken, yelled Poppy. He dove into the water and floated on his back, a marshmallow under each wing, kicking his legs as fast as he could. Head count, he called. One. His mustache pulled Sweetie in right behind him. Two, yelled Sweetie. Three, yelled Sugar, following Sweetie. Four, yelled Dirt, following Sugar. Exhausted, Poppy crawled up the ramp, pulling on his mustache rope. One by one, the chickens pulled one another out of the water and then dragged one another to the top, diving into the rabbit hutch for cover. A blast of wind blew the door shut behind them. I had no idea we could float, said Sweetie. It was a marshmallow kid, said Sugar, still out of breath. The marshmallows are filled with air, so they float. So that's why you put them in the emergency survival kit, said Sweetie. Exactly, said Sugar. She looked over at Dirt and shrugged. Head count, said Dirt, frazzled and out of breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, asked Sugar. Chapter 8. Dirt, Sugar, Poppy, and Sweetie turned around to see the rabbit emerging from a dark corner of the hutch. We've been looking all over for you, cried Dirt. We thought you made a break for it and ran back into the wild. You must be the chickens that were spying on me from the maple tree and the gutter along the back of the house, said the rabbit. I told you we were spying, said Sweetie. I prefer observing, added Dirt. You knew you were under surveillance, asked Sugar. But how? I'm a wild animal kid, said the rabbit. I got instincts. I know when I'm being watched. Listen, Sparkles. We're the ones out in the wild with nothing but mustaches and marshmallows. You're the one in a bunny box, eating salad out of a bowl. Sugar grabbed a piece of the rabbit's lettuce and took a big chomp. My name is not Sparkles, said the rabbit. It is to me, replied Sugar. You can't do that. You can't just change somebody's name, answered the rabbit. There are no rules in the wild. There are no rules in the wild, Kid, replied Sugar. Deal with it. What were you doing in that box? Asked her. It's my hiding box, answered the rabbit. Barbara built it into the hutch for me. Lots of rabbits have them. I sensed the storm and came in here. Sense a storm, said Sugar suspiciously. What kind of bunny mungu jumbo is that? Jumbo is that? Like I said, replied the rabbit, I'm a wild animal. I can sense things. Listen, kid, said Sugar. If you want to pretend you're a wild animal with special senses, well, you know what? Bunny, that's okay by me. Sometimes I pretend that I crashed to Earth on a meteorite, and that's why I got my superpowers of survival and surveillance. I really am a wild animal, said the rabbit, and I really do have heightened senses. You're a dreamer, kid, said Sugar. I like that about you. Don't change. I like the but you don't change. Your hiding box is just like my old shoe, said Poppy. It helps me feel safe and it doesn't smell very good. That's my little box, kid, said the rabbit. The hiding box is on the other side. Come look, cried Tweety. The rain stopped and beautiful. The chickens and the rabbit rushed toward the door. Is it a rainbow? asked Poppy. No, it's Mom, yelled Tweety. She's coming up the ramp to save us. Uh-oh, mumbled Sugar. Moosh swung the door open and gathered up all the tricks. Did he sense that we were in danger, Mom? asked Poppy. No, replied Moosh. Speedy left me a note and a pair of binoculars. I was watching you from the high perch in the chicken coop the whole time. You're spying on us? demanded Sugar. I call it observing, said Moosh. Well, it sure feels like spying to me, Sugar protested. She turned to face Sweetie. Why would you leave Mom a note? Just a survival skill I picked up, replied Sweetie. From who? asked Sugar. From Mom, replied Sweetie. You worked very nicely together, said Moosh. I loved what you did with the mustaches and the marshmallows, too, she added. I am so proud of all of you. She used her beak to cut through the mustache rope. Thanks, Mom, said Sugar. I guess we're all still wild chickens at heart. I guess so, said Moosh. By the way, you're all grounded for leaving the coop without telling me where you were going, except for Sweetie, of course. Sugar glared at her sister. Survival skills, kid, announced Sweetie. So that was like our end of the book. But there was an epilogue that we could read. So let's read the epilogue. It took a while, but Sparkles the bunny, the name kind of stuck, eventually felt safe enough to come out of the hutch and wander around a bit. Of course, I walked him around the yard a few times to help him get a feel for things. As for the squad, Moosh decided that the best way to dry the chickens out was to send them back up to the clothesline. They fluffed up real nice and even smell like sunshine. Sprinkles observed them and wrote a poem about it. Blowing in the breeze, pop between sugar dirt, fluffy travel birds. I wouldn't stand under there if I were you, said Poppy. Is that the rain? asked Sparkles, looking up at Sweetie on the clothesline. Keep dreaming, kid, said Sugar. Keep dreaming. The end. So I really like this book because these chickens are like really funny, interesting. They like to do everything. I really like this book, so please like and subscribe if you are new, and watch our part 1, and then watch this part 2 what we are doing. So please like and subscribe if you are new. And bye.